Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scaling Smart, the no fluff podcast for partner pros who move past enablement and are asking, now what? This is a 4 episode series covering the key moves. We're going to be talking about how to scale after enablement. What do you do beyond MDF? Making co selling repeatable and giving partners a real GDM voice. Short, sharp, and packed with real talk. I'm Sandy, your host, co founder, and head of experience at FORESIGHT. And alongside me, I have our guest and colleague, Jeff Ballard, who is head of partner engagement at FORESIGHT. He leads the partner engagement practice, helping B2B tech companies build stronger, more strategic relationships that actually drive revenue. He's also founder of Accelerator Network and brings 25 plus years of experience from companies like IBM and Seagate, where he built go-to-market programs that scale globally. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time out today to speak with me.
Oh, thanks. And wow, what an intro. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Now, let's get in the first episode. So, episode 1, we're going to be focusing on scale or stall, what it takes to grow a partner practice. So, the foundational episode sets the stage for scaling. So, what we're really going to do is we'll unpack what happens after enablement, where most programs lose momentum, and the systems and behaviors that separate high performing partner ecosystems from the rest. So, my first question, Jeff, what are the most common pitfalls in trying to scale after enablement?
You know, that is one of the biggest questions out there in partner marketing today. You know, you get these wonderful partners on, you send them through training, only to find that things aren't quite working, and you don't know why. And a lot of times, what I've seen, as you've mentioned, I've worked with a number of companies, big and small. And you mentioned some of the brand names there as well. And the things that I've seen throughout that whole process, throughout that whole spectrum, is a couple of things. One is that they're only providing the technical enablement. So they come on board and they're just saying, okay, here's, learn our product and you got it now. Good. Go sell something. It is really the lack of the follow through on the enablement is where there's a great opportunity to be able to up the game with regard to partners. So once you take them through that enablement, technical enablement, then there's also sales enablement that needs to happen. How do you go about and sell the product? Who do you talk to? How do you talk to them? There's a whole number of things that can happen after that. And a lot of times we're seeing issues around that where they're not following through. I like to use the analogy from baseball, I'm based here in the U.S. and baseball is American as it gets, right? In baseball, and I would say much like probably cricket in other parts of the world, when you swing and you make contact with the ball, that's great, but it's really that follow through. It's that whole motion of range that makes it a good hit. In football terms, it makes it a home run. So it's that follow through in your enablement that really will help make those home run engagements. The other thing I see is alignment on who delivers the leads and expectations there. Quite often I've seen companies where they say, okay, go bring X number of partners, and they expect those partners to bring in leads automatically. Yet on the flip side, partners are aligning with vendors specifically to get leads. So it becomes a question of who's delivering leads to whom. And really in those scenarios, it needs to be a symbiotic relationship. Both entities need to open up their relative customer base and introduce the other partner into their customer base. And so those are some of the common pitfalls that I see.
Sure. So, based on what I hear, is it fair to kind of understand that the partners need to actually understand each other before they jump into any of these campaigns, knowing well enough what the other person knows or what the partner that's bringing in on table, and also aligning on common goals before jumping into any of these initiatives that they would run? Is that fair to understand?
100%. And a lot of times I'll see where A seller is really hot on a partner because of a specific opportunity at a company, and they
Hmm.
bring that partner into the company, into the team, and say, we need to get these guys on as partners. We need to ramp them up. They're going to do a lot of stuff, and to start moving in on that process. But in reality, there's only that one particular customer. So really, it comes down to what I like to do is set up an ideal partner profile. In the marketing realm, everybody knows ICP, or ideal customer profile,
Yeah.
but very very often you're not seeing an ideal partner profile. They haven't defined, this is the kind of partner that we need. Getting right down to serving the customers that we're serving, serving the technology or ancillary technology to what we're doing. So
Yeah.
being able to have that IPP to really then say, okay, this is a good partner, or this partner only has one deal. Let's focus on them just around that deal. This partner matches our IPP. Let's put some energy and effort into them.
Got it. Got it. What are some of the metrics that signal a partner practice is ready to scale?
Some of the things that I tend to look at is their ability to drive leads on their own.
Hmm.
So their demand gen motion. So how are they driving demand generation? Are they doing their own activities? Are they setting up activities where they can bring the vendor in, us in, to be able to help drive, do that joint selling, that joint marketing, if you will. So
Yeah.
that's one of the areas of that demand gen. I think that's really crucial. Some other ways, going back to that enablement part, taking a look at the certifications. How many people on that team are diving in and getting certifications? If you've only got one or two that are getting signed up, that may be a strategic move, or it may be a signal that they're not as into you as you think.
Yeah.
Strategically, they may be saying, look, let's get one or two people lined up. Let's build up a pipeline and build up a practice. And that's fine. So as long as that is the case, but certainly you want to see movement. You want to see them getting the certifications around the product. And last but not least, if they're developing pipeline, if they
Hmm.
are able to turn those leads into actual pipeline, then that really shows that this is an organization that can start to scale. And then hopefully at that point, it's can they close the pipeline? And that's where it
Yeah.
really.
Right. Yeah. You could have great conversations, but if you're not generating the pipeline, it really makes no sense. So I think that's where it
Exactly.
comes in the picture. How would you suggest organizations evolve partner communications? And when I say partner communication, primarily on, setting context, setting expectations, and also planning in the scale phase. How do you do that?
Well, to me, engagement with the partners is probably it's one of, if not the most critical, it's one of the most critical aspects, because partners have multiple products out there that they're selling, multiple vendors that they're working with. Being able to stay with partners engaged, keep them engaged, and it's not just sending out emails, ad hoc. It's really being strategic about your communications, and you're reaching out about ways to sell the product, success stories. If there is new product coming out, or if there's new training modules, those are some great things. But it's really being consistent in that engagement, doing it on a regular basis. I was one of the times I had was managing a partner program. I had every Tuesday was a newsletter was supposed to go out, and it wasn't necessarily just about my company and our product offering, but it was about the space. So we're providing value add information. We come across articles that we see that are relevant to our customer base. We're providing links to that. So we sent
Mm.
it out every Tuesday. It was regular as clockwork. And then we would also set up what I would call coaching calls every couple of weeks, every other Friday. We do it on Friday mornings. Well, Friday morning, I was California time, so Friday
Yeah.
morning for me. And we would do coaching calls around a specific topic. And
Right.
partners would join or not join. We would have a handful, or maybe we would have a lot based upon what the topic was. And so just keeping that engagement, that's the big thing that I think is one of the key ways to drive those communications or to drive that engagement. The other way is understanding the partner's go-to-market model and strategy, and how is it that they are going to market? How are they taking your offering to market and working within that flow? So being able to, again, provide those communications, provide that content that they're looking for to help them as they move through their process. So those are the types of things that I would say, ways to evolve partner communication.
There's one thing that you mentioned at the start that really caught my attention, and I loved it. You said partner engagement instead of partner enablement. That really, just that term, right? Just engagement itself. That's
Mhm.
so important to running these partner programs, because if you or your partners are not engaged with each other, you really don't get the desired outcomes that you want. And especially the couple of, I mean, I'm guessing you must have had several things that you were doing, but a couple of them saying sending out newsletters every Tuesday, having like coaching calls every Fridays. You really could be able to find the difference between the ones that are being engaged with those versus the partners that are not engaging with those. You'd really see the kind of difference. Could you talk a little more about the kind of difference that you see between partners that are engaged and the ones that are not, and what are they losing?
Oh, absolutely. Engagement is a two-way street. You can be very active in that engagement. And one of the things that you're tracking is who is responding, who is participating. And it's those folks that are participating that will get the extra love and attention, right? Because I know if they've been to a few of my workshops, they've been to a few of my webinars, they've attended some coaching calls, I know they're interested and they're trying to grow a portfolio, grow their practice around my product. I'm going to give them more attention.
Yeah.
So those that are a little bit more on the fence, those I'll take a look at and I'll say, how does this partner line up? Is it strategic to what we're doing? Do we really want them to be more engaged, more active? Then I'll point them out as partners. So now we need to go provide some extra love, see if we can get them into the flow of working with us. And then there's going to be a set that, okay, yeah, they're good partners, they're decent partners, they're not necessarily strategic to us. It's fine if they're not participating. I'm not going to focus there. I'm going to
Yeah.
focus on those that want the love and focus on those that are strategic and we need them to be participating with us.
Got it. And what does internal alignment look like at this stage? When I say internal alignment, I'm talking about aligning with sales, with customer success, with ops. How does that look?
Yeah, so that's alignment is a tricky thing. It opens up a lot of doors, a lot of bad doors sometimes. But really, as you look at the alignment, it's the partner leader who has to be the one to bridge and align the sales organization, the marketing organization, product, and customer teams. That person kind of plays quarterback, to use another American sports term, if you will.
Yeah.
That person they're supposed to be making sure that the partner is actively engaged and the infrastructure, the core team, is supporting that partner. And when it comes to alignment specifically with sales, sometimes there are challenges that are above that person's pay grade because of the way compensation works and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of being able to make sure that you're driving those relationships,
Hmm.
and also you're turning around and communicating internally the value of those partners, because quite often value is expressed in dealer sourced deals or partner sourced deals, or sometimes it's partner sourced revenue. But when it's partner affiliated or partner assisted deals and things like that, those really need to be communicated, because quite often it's not going to show up in a CRM system. It's just
Hmm.
CRMs are typically built to show, what are the last or what are the key points where that we've engaged with this. And partners tend not to show up in that. So there is a challenge. So that's something that the partner leader has to do to drive that alignment, because at the end of the day, if a partner is not getting appropriate credit, it breaks down trust and it sours the partner on working with the vendor, to some degree at least. And you may be able to survive a few, but as it builds up over time, you build up a reputation, and that just doesn't go very well. And other than that, I would say it's really around the teams being able to work together jointly to find opportunities, to work those opportunities and to win those opportunities. And that's got to be joint customer sales, partner sales, vendor sales, partner sales, as well as however marketing plays into that with demand gen and other types of activities.
There's some great pointers that you touched upon there, and I think that's pure gold for people that are listening, especially the partner pros that are coming in here. Can you share maybe a real life example where a partner practice turned the corner?
Yeah, so I'll actually talk about one of the last companies that I was working for, a company called Aerospike. In 2021, they had a partner program that they had tried to relaunch. They hadn't gotten it off the ground very well. They tried to relaunch it, but they were really just heading down that same path, just under a different program name. They brought me in, and as I started taking a look around, I was able to kind of plug up some of the holes that were there to make sure we had a very complete program. But one thing that was a differentiator for me that I've always seen is helping partners create a go-to-market strategy around my product, whatever product is my product at the time, right? Yep. And so that was the thing that I put in place, was helping partners create a go-to-market plan around our product. And when they came on board, that was part of the onboarding process. We would have a small workshop where we walk through a go-to-market plan, and we identify, who are the customers that you have that would be relevant to our product? How does the product fit? And that product being our product as Aerospike, as well as the partner's services. So taking that offering together, how is that addressing customers' needs? And then we would talk about ways that we can then go market that, and then ways that we would help them, support them in the sales effort around that. And so providing that go-to-market plan and strategy really helped give them some focus, helped give them a ramp to faster revenue, finding deals, finding opportunities, closing deals faster. We actually saw onboarding time, ramp to revenue time shrink from well over, it was probably about 6 months before partners would start to see pipeline. We got that down into less than 90 days. So being able to do that and provide that level of engagement, a strategic level of engagement, was really beneficial. So that's an example of one type of program.
Interesting. I'm sure there's a lot more to uncover in the episodes that are coming up. Great conversation. Jeff, I thank you very much for your time that you spent on this episode. I hope our viewers and our listeners were able to get some insights and inputs from our conversation. Once again, I thank you very much. Let's continue talking. I'll see you on the next episode.
All right. Thanks. And here's the last word. Scaling isn't about just doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently, so your program scales along with your ecosystem. Most partner programs die not from lack of ambition, but from a lack of rhythm. If any of that hits close to home, or if you're somewhere between enablement and what now, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at grow@buyerforesight.com or drop your questions in the comments on how to spot scale readiness, evolve your partner motion, or align your internal teams. Let's get into the messy middle together.